We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Hello and welcome to the show tonight. I'm super happy that you are here with me tonight. I have a wonderful guest, as I do every week. She is phenomenal. You are going to not just like her, you are going to love her because she is well versed in civility and what it means. And tonight she's going to talk to us a little bit about what civility means, how it affects us, and why it's important to us. And then we're going to talk on a couple other topics as well in relation to civility. So I want to invite you to come on in. It's time to win. Go tell your friends, go even tell your frenemies that it's time to win. And I always tell folks, and people are all over the globe calling me, texting me and saying, hey, Lotus, guess what I'm using? I'm using your phrase, note takers or money makers. Well, thanks to my brother, Terrence Lethbridge, Wanda D. Hollis, and of course, Janelle Harris. We all talk about the fact that note takers are money makers. And yes, note takers are money makers. So get your notepad and get your pen and come on in because it's time to win. Come on in because I always got room around my table for you because I want you to get in where you fit in right here around my table. So tonight we're going to talk to you about civility. So go ahead and tell your friends to come on in. And I always tell you, go ahead and do this right here. Get you something wonderful to drink, okay? So it can quench your thirst. We're going to be talking for a little while. And of course, I already got my drink. I am drinking some lemon tea. It's like a honey citron out of Korea, and it's really good. And I'm going to have a sip, and you should too. Ooh, I love it. So, like I said, note takers and money makers, make sure you have your note in your pad and come on in. It's time to win. And as I said, don't forget, get your... Yeah, get that good old tea or something, whatever you're going to drink. So now let me tell you a little bit more about my guest. My guest is all the way from the wonderful, wonderful island of Jamaica. She's going to come and she's going to talk to us about what got her here to where she lives. I'm not going to tell you where she lives. She'll tell you where she lives. And she's going to talk to us about what it was like being the director of Civility, her company. She's going to talk about that. And then she's going to talk to us about an amazing summit that she's got coming up here really shortly. And I implore you guys, be a part of it. So I don't have to tell you any more than you're going to have a great time. So come on in, tell your friends, go ahead, share, like, and start a watch party because I'm about to go backstage and get my guest, my friend, and soon to be your friend to help you win at this thing we call life. So go ahead, buckle up tight because everything's going to be A-OK and dynamite. Here we go. Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. Hello, friends. Come on in. We have got a superb winner here for you tonight. We have none other than Your Majesty, the founder and managing director at the Family Civility Institute. She is also the ambassador for the Sustainable Development Movement Summit that's coming up at a place not too far from you. Please welcome my friend, your friend, and somebody's going to help us win, Dr. Rebecca Fellison Harper.
Thank
Hey,
you so much. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. That's so sweet of you. And you are a dear friend and have become such a, it's amazing how our bond is just formed so quickly and so organically. And thank
yes.
God for that every day.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm always honored to be in the midst of just wonderful people. So, folks, come on in. Come on in. Share this broadcast. Like, share, and start a watch party if you haven't. And make sure, I always tell you, have your notepad. Why? Because note takers are money makers. And you can't take no notes without a pen. So, grab a pen, grab a crayon. I don't care. Grab your eyebrow pencil if you have to. But get ready to take these notes because Dr. Harper is going to tear the house up tonight. So, Dr. Harper, thank you for coming on the show. Delighted to have you. Can you please share with folks? I've told them a little bit about who you are, but can you tell them a little bit more about you, your story?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm born in Mandeville, Jamaica, which is actually the center of the island.
Mhm.
And and then I moved to Kingston because
Yes.
it was the capital of the country.
Hmm.
And then I almost 2 years ago, August will make it 2 years, I moved to Toronto, Canada, for the my children to have more opportunities because they had special needs and other needs, and I had needs as a single mom, and
Yes.
Canada seems, it's a better place for, as we say, children and elderly, and getting that support. So coming to Canada, while I was in Jamaica, I sat on various boards. I ran the National Zoo, which was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I then sat on boards like the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, which
Hmm.
was like the child advocate agencies in other
Yes.
countries,
Right.
and then also the Early Childhood Commission, and then the Natural History Museum because of my work with the zoo.
Right.
So, and then I worked with several charities like Food for the Poor and all that. So I've always been in empowerment, using agriculture to bring people out of poverty. But then I was like, there's this, I always knew there was a missing link. Like, we'd go into these communities with these amazing ideas, and the people were all for it, and then something just was missing. And then one
Yes.
project I did, I said, we need to put some education in this. And we did a 6 weeks course with the recipients. And when we did the graduation, it was on the lawn. The women
Mhm.
came dressed up, and I was like, wow. And they said, we've never graduated before, because a lot of them got pregnant and dropped out of school. And the
Wow.
pride to actually, and it was just a certificate. And I was like, wow, that really touched my heart and impacted me. Coming to Canada now, I don't know, I had a Jamaican resume, even though it was very, I've done a lot of things in my life. I'm very blessed, and I have a degree and so on. It just wasn't happening. So I decided to go back to school and be a registered social service worker. And so many times we live a life of experience, and
Yes.
we we tend to put it aside, or we tend
Hmm.
to say, oh, education, we're so cultured, as we're going to talk about, domesticated, to think
Yes.
we need that university degree, we need that PhD, we need all of these things. However, we don't value our experience and life as in the university of life. And
Wow. Wait, 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 wait. You said we don't value our experience
mhm,
in the university of life. So
yes,
did you guys catch that? Did you? If you're looking for a tag, then you go value your
yeah,
experience in the university of life. Note takers are money makers. Go ahead, Doc. I just had to stop. That's a powerful. That's powerful.
that's what I love about you. We always have these discussions. You're like, Rebecca, stop.
We gotta be in the moment. We in the moment, y'all.
Exactly. So, this is, so I go back to school and I do a year program to get registered here. And the theory that I learned, I was like, but I've been doing this. But I've been
Yeah.
doing this. Hold on. I know. And I mean, it was funny because when it came to life examples of these lessons, I was teaching the course.
Yes.
And everybody said it. Even my professors are like, Rebecca, you should be teaching this. And I love to teach. So COVID happened when I graduated, just as I graduated, and I went, what am I going to do? And I, don't get me wrong, I felt, I had the depression in the beginning of COVID, like, oh my
Yes.
God, I'm supposed to
Yes.
get a job. Oh my God, what am I going to
Yep.
do? How am I going to support my family? I have rent, we all,
Yeah.
everything that everybody feels. And what happened to me was that I decided, and it always happens to me, and everything that I've been through, because I haven't even begun to tell you about my life stories. But I reach a point where I do that depression stage, and I do that woe, and then it's something clicks in me and says enough.
Yes.
And May 10th, I said enough. I have to do something. I can't just sit around and wait. And
Yes.
God spoke to me. And through all of this education and registering, I met Dr. Clyde Rivers and that's another phenomenal. A year ago, I decided I was going to have a rebirth on my birthday.
Yes.
So I did a rebirth, and I did a smudging ceremony. Thank you to the Indigenous people of Canada for teaching me how to do this. And I took that tradition, and I even went and burnt all the things that have hurt me in the past. And I
Yes.
went through a cleansing, and then I got these sky lanterns, and I made the kids and myself write our dreams. I
Yes.
wrote a letter to myself. And what was amazing is, I'm excited to open the letter on Friday. And I wrote what I wanted. So this was a whole different type of birthday. I didn't have a party. I didn't have any of that. I just said, I need to change. And with that, 3 weeks after that, I met Dr. Rivers.
Yes.
And I believe, in fact, who I am, I didn't even approach him for me. I actually approached him for somebody else that I knew would love what he taught, the whole world's civility. And my dream was United Nations, but I didn't go to him for me. I did it for
Right.
somebody else. And then he and I met, and we spoke, and he's like, Rebecca, you need to do this. You need to be on the stage. And I'm like, no, me? Who am I? Like, who am I? And this is how it's similar to what happened with us.
Yes. Yes.
And I just said, okay, we'll see. And again, I was bored and had nothing to do, so I wrote a book in a week, and then I have another one coming out with my co-writer, because I was bored. The same, like, okay, I can't just sit around doing nothing.
Right.
So
Right.
with this whole thing, and then I got my honorary doctorate from the United Graduate and College and Seminary in the States for my life experience and for developing family civility, out of world
Yes.
civility. Because as this discussion with Dr. Rivers, I was like, no, we have to take civility door to door. What is civility?
Yes.
Civility, as defined in the dictionary, is polite. But it's more than that. It's asking, as Dr. Rivers says, the golden question. You know, if the shoe is on your foot, would you like it?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the golden rule? Do unto others as you would like them to do unto
On
you.
to you. Yes.
However, I take it a little further, because people are different. People are
Yes.
unique. So something that I think is okay may not be okay to that person. And then we look at family civility. And family civility is the nation or the community that creates an environment that accepts all family structures, but doesn't just accept them, but empowers them to achieve their own sustainable developmental goals. Meaning, governments do a lot for family, but they don't empower the family to do it themselves.
Right. Right.
And families are different. And I am tired of hearing, oh, you come from, and let's talk about, oh, you're inner city Black youth of a single mother. Oh, poor you, but you're gonna do well. No, right? Because that single mother has worked every day of her life, has disciplined her. I know whole heap of Jamaican single mothers that have people going, they'll do anything for their child to get to school, to education. And it's not because you're coming from a single parent home why you behave that way. It is because you're in a community structure that makes you feel less than because you come from that type of family.
Yes.
And that has to stop. That's not family civility. Family civility says no matter where you come from, no matter what family structure, no matter your sexuality, your gender, your race, whether you have autism, a non-visual disability, or a regular, an exceptionality, as I call them.
Yes.
Right? You can do anything. And we are here to support you, love you, and be civil to you.
Woo! I told you Dr. Harper was coming tonight. I told you saw the flyer on my page. You saw it on other pages. I told you Dr. Harper was coming tonight, and she was going to set it right. And she and I are talking about this thing called civility. And she just broke it down to the nuggets, honey, about what civility is. I keep telling you, note takers are money makers. I hope you got your pen and your pencil. And if you need another pen because yours not writing here, you can use mine, dreads and all. I like
the dreads.
So, Dr. Harper, we want to take some comments. We see people coming in from all over the place. So, of course, I want to say hi to Angela Elting. Hey to Jacqueline Edwards. Good to see you all the way from Georgia. We're super happy to have you. Wendy Ford, my girl. Hey, good to see you. Wendy, you know the routine. Where you streaming in from? We want to know. All right, we've got Jacqueline Henry tuning in from Jamaica. Good to see you, Jacqueline. Again, Jacqueline Edwards, she said, value your experience in the University of Life. That's right. Here we have Miss KJ. Hey, KJ, where you tuning in from? Let everybody know, just in case they don't know. Now they will know. Oh, my God. Who are God's child? Hey.
Love it.
We've got some good folks coming on tonight, except all family structures. KJ, high five, pow, right at you, because you got to accept people as they are. Yeah. And we're going to talk about later this show this show is torpedoing. It is called Bring Who You Are. So y'all, oh my gosh. But anyway, you know what I'm about to say. But Selena Pinoshima, Dr. Shimo's on. How you doing? She said, yes, systemic crippling. Wow. So look, a lot of folks streaming in. Lori, hey, good to see you. Happy that you're here. Dr. Shimo said, love is the key. Yes. Jacqueline said, yes, ma'am. So many folks are streaming in. I'm super happy to have you streaming in. Go ahead, stream in. Tell your friends, tell your frenemies. It's time to win and come on in. Wow. Because you got to get in where you fit in. And I got room right around my table for you. Dr. Harper is laying it down. If you haven't liked, shared, and start a watch party, what are you waiting for? Because you think it just got hot. You hot up under there. You about to get set on fire when we come back. We going to take a quick break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to ask Dr. Harper, she lit civility up. She just lit it up. But when we come back, we're going to ask her, why is it even important that we understand civility? Why is it important and what impact does it have? And if you don't know, stick around because you're about to know. We'll be right back. Go ahead and get yourself something good to drink because it's on and popping right now. because we are back with Dr. Harper. We are talking about civility. She just broke it down to the nuggets. And now we're going to talk about why it is important to understand and how does it impact us, this thing we call civility. Dr. Harper?
Well, I think civility is one weapon we have against biases and implicit bias. You know, if you teach civility in the home instead of biases and prejudices, then we wouldn't have what we have today. I think this is, you know, we look at racism and systemic racism and we look at, and I'm going to say it straight, the white privilege. And my saying is white privilege, or any privilege, I should say, because, you know, there are also people, we call it white privilege, but it's because it's white. It originally was white privilege, but now all different colors have privilege as long as you're part of the 1%.
Yes.
It's like a seesaw. And if you are up there, it means somebody has to be at that bottom making you go up. Well, it's time to get off the seesaw.
Yes.
And to get off the seesaw, you need civility. You need to be in that person's shoes and feel the pain and say, I am not going to accept white privilege anymore. I am not going to be privileged when I know somebody is at the bottom of that seesaw.
Yes.
Right. And it's both people that need to get up, because when you look at oppression only works if it's accepted.
Right. That's true.
And even as wonderful my country is, I love it with all my heart. We have oppression. And I didn't realize how much we had, because until I came up here, and even in my class, in fact, the first semester I had in my class, I had a teacher that just was out for me, right? And I accepted it. And and other people are like, why didn't you argue your grade and this and that? I mean, what? And I'm like, are you crazy? The teacher will fail me automatically my oppression was kicking in. It was like God teaching me, Rebecca, you have oppression. And I refused to. I ended that class actually with a C+ because I was so oppressed education-wise that I was petrified to speak.
Wow.
And then the next class I took was about oppression. It was an anti-oppressive practice class. And that's when I went, oh my gosh, because I accepted her actions, she got away with it. So both people need to come off the seesaw.
Yes. And I like what you're saying. And folks out there, if you resonate with what Dr. Harper is saying, go ahead and put number 1 in the comment block below, because this is what I'm hearing you say, that all people, in order to move up to the consciousness of civility and move away from racism and all the other schisms, they must rise to a higher consciousness. And I always say that this is where we see people, not just as people, but spiritual beings as human, having a human experience. Because when we see people in that light, in the same light that we're in, being that we come from God, we are the energy of God, we begin to think of people differently. We don't think of them as expendable. We don't think of them as like, your life don't matter. Because when you really get down to it, all lives matter. And folks, y'all stay tuned, because I got a show that's coming up talking about all lives matter, and it's going to be explosive. But Doc, I wanted to say that is a huge point that you made about consciousness. And Jacqueline Edwards said it is a must. And Jacqueline Henry said that's right. And we've got several ones coming up. Sandra Small, hey, how you doing? Jacqueline's there, Lori's there with the ones, Dr. Shimo's there with the ones. So it's unequivocal that you must come up. And I like this, what Jacqueline said. She said, beyond importance, civility is the key, period. Hands down. Jacqueline came in the house. She said what she had to say, and she dropped the mic, period. And she said she loves you so much, Becky. So I love it. KJ all the way from Dallas, Texas. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. So Doc, I know that we talked earlier a little bit about why it's important as far
Mhm.
as civility is concerned. We talked about what it is, why it's important. And now we want to ask you this question, Doc. And those of you that's out there, if you have any questions of Dr. Harper, don't hesitate to ask, okay? Because she got the answers, okay? So when we talk about civility and it being very important,
Mhm.
I learned about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Tina Thompson was on the show and she had an explosive topic, and we were talking about violence, domestic violence. So I really want to touch on that topic because if we lead with love, I always say we need to lead
Mm.
with love, and we understand that civility piece. Do you think, doctor, that the domestic violence rates, the murder rates globally would begin to trickle down?
So, yes, and I'll tell you why. Civility is learning people's perspectives and respecting them. So again, it's another, there's so many layers of civility, and that's what I love about it, because even though I'm the ambassador for family civility and my initiative, there's female civility, there's girl civility, there's so many types of civility that blend in. But with the family civility, one of the
Yes.
things I teach is appreciating people's perspective, and also knowing that in a relationship and studying, and with, I have studied domestic violence as a social service worker. um what it is that the issue of perspective, sometimes you have to realize you can't help everybody, and you have to know
Yes.
where they're at.
Yeah.
And with knowing where they're at, sometimes you feel that, you know what, I have to leave.
Hmm.
You cannot change people's the way they are, because when it comes to domestic violence, there has been childhood trauma.
Yes.
There has been, and a lot of victims, unfortunately, of, and we blame them. And I'm going to be straight up. I, coming from somebody who has had it, the last thing I want to hear somebody say is, why doesn't she leave or he leave?
Yes. Yes.
Because, and how weak they are for not leaving. Well, I'm going to say it. If you have suffered or you are suffering from domestic violence and you're still in that marriage, you are the strongest person I know.
Hmm.
You are so strong to get up every morning of life knowing what you are going to face that day
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
still face it.
Yes.
That to me is true strength.
Yes. And Doc, I want to trickle back on something you said earlier, because you said that at one point you got to the point in your life where you said, okay, enough is enough. Well, this is the same thing in our civility quest, and even in the quest for people who are dealing with domestic violence. What happens after you say enough, and then what? What
And
what
this,
happens?
and you see, this is where civility comes into play. If we had this structure that
Mhm.
accepted a single parent, if we had the society, the communities that, and the religions that
Yes.
accepted single parenting,
Hmm.
because there are a lot of religions and there are a lot of family structures that will send the person back because they don't believe in divorce, or
Yes.
your role as a woman is to support the man. I mean, there's so many things. Civility is accepting people's perspective and people's truths,
Yes.
knowing their truths, and adapting yourself to that truth.
So let me ask you this, because you talked about something. You said in some countries, if you're
Mhm.
dealing with a lack of civility, even in your own home, where you're maybe
Mhm.
being abused,
Yeah.
they'll send you back home. Now, I know personally from being in the counseling field,
Hmm.
dealing with families who were experiencing domestic violence, and I had to go in and help get the family out of the situation, which is a very dangerous situation in many cases, not just for the people that are living in the household, but also for the people that are going there to give them help and to help them get out of that dangerous situation. But the question is this, have you experienced that in your own personal life? And what was it like? And how did you get out?
So I was always brought up to be told that abuse was physical. And it was interesting because there was a time I experienced every abuse except physical. So I didn't think I was in an abusive marriage. In fact, I would still be there if he didn't do what he'd do what he did. And what was amazing, and is I had no clue. And it wasn't until I sat in front of a counsel and they said, well, do you know about verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse? I mean, Jamaica still has a law that a husband cannot rape his wife. Still has that law. Still. And that is a huge mental law. And we have female judges in Jamaica that you will sit in front of them and say, this is what happened to me. And they'll turn to you and say, well, did he beat you? And I said, no. Well, then you weren't abused. And that's a woman telling me this. And a judge in the Supreme Court, because in Jamaica, you have to go to the Supreme Court to get a divorce.
You got to go to the Supreme Court to get a divorce?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember when you said that before. And I bet a lot of people out there didn't realize that in Jamaica, you've got to go to the Supreme Court to get a divorce
and
get a lawyer.
So it's very expensive.
Automatic. So if you didn't know that in Jamaica and in other countries, for some people to get a divorce, even if they are being physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually abused, that they have to go to Supreme Court, and somebody's already starting to put their information in. If you didn't know that, put a number 2 in the comment below. And it's okay not to know, because that's why you're here today on the show, so that you can find out, so that you can know.
Yeah.
Wow, Doc.
And this is one of the things. We have a lot of people that have inter-country marriages. Before you get married in another country, please research the laws. Because, for example, you cannot get a divorce right away in Jamaica. You have to be separated for 1 year before you can get a divorce.
So, Doc, when the person is going through the 1 year separation before the divorce, how does the separation work? Can they leave the country? If they're not from there, or even if they are, can they leave the country during this 1 year? How does that work?
You can leave, but the children can't without permission from the father or the mother. I'm going to give you the type of rules. After my 3rd child, I wanted to have a tubal ligation. I didn't want any more children. I'm happy with the children I have. My husband, because I was married at the time, had to sign a form to approve it.
For you, wait a minute. See, this is why you got to know your rights, folks. You got to know your rights, not just in your own country, but in other countries that you might visit, or that you might marry someone from another country and then decide to go live there and you don't know the laws. You said that in order to have a tubal ligation on your own body, your body, not like your friend next door's body. You say, come on over, girl. I'm going to help you get this tubal ligation. It was on your body. But you had to get your husband's approval in writing.
There's a form that the doctor fills out, and he has to sign it to approve it. Once I'm married, the law states that if I'm to get that done, my husband has to know about it and approve it.
Wow. Wow.
So these archaic laws are still happening.
Yeah. And I'm not shocked because when I used to go to Korea quite frequently, and when I went to Korea, I learned some things about Korean lifestyle and Koreans being married one to another, you know, that the women cannot do unless the male spouse approves of it.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, so you need to know the laws as they pertain to you, what your rights are. No matter what country you're in, you need to know the law in that country that you're in.
But remember, Jamaica follows the British law.
Right.
And colonialistic laws. And that
Yes.
brings to a whole different discussion, because me and colonialism, I mean, today is Canada Day, and everybody's like happy. I said I don't celebrate it because I'm not celebrating colonialism.
Exactly right.
Because
and so with
that's
that
the height of oppression.
Right. So with that being said, I want to check with our viewers how many people did not know that in other countries, in order for a woman to have a simple procedure done to her body, that she has to have written documentation from her husband, saying, yeah, it's okay, it's her body, and I'm giving her the right to have this procedure done. So I want to go and I want to take a couple of comments, okay? And then if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down, because we're going to take those questions too, because they're super important. So look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back with Dr. Rebecca Phillipson Harper. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life.
So welcome back. We're talking about civility with the fabulous Dr. Rebecca Phillipson Harper. She's here with us today. And we just took a quick break because we wanted to come back and look at some of the comments from our viewers around the world as we talked about. You need to know the laws in regard to your rights, because you can be in another country. And if you're married to someone in that country, even if you want to have something done to your body, like a tubal ligation, which means you're not going to have no more kids, you have to give way to your spouse. They have to approve it in writing and give it to the courts. In the United States, that is like unheard of. So let's take some feedback. So Sandra Small said, hey, great topic. Thank you, Sandra. We appreciate you. She also said, Jacqueline said, yes, and once they are an abuser, they can't change, because we was talking about domestic violence earlier. We was talking about how civility is really one of the answers for domestic violence, as well as racism and all the other schisms. And Jacqueline said, according to the Canadian Woman Foundation, a woman in Canada is killed by her intimate partner every 6 days. And I got to tell you, I welcome you, Jacqueline, to come on another upcoming show that I have coming up, because we're going to be talking about domestic violence again and the laws that uphold domestic violence.
Well, you can't have a better guest than Jacqueline Edwards, because she's actually a very close friend of mine, and she's also the president of the Association of Black Law Enforcers for Canada, and they have affiliates in the US and the UK. So you can't get a better person to speak about this topic, and you should hear our discussions all the time.
Awesome.
And this is what this is where civility, or the family civility, comes into play, is that we can stop the killings, we can stop the physical abuse if we help people to be aware of the other abuses and the grooming to abuse. And like I said, the biggest thing that happened to me was the psychiatrist and the counselor said, Rebecca, if you go back to that marriage, he will then eventually reach physical, because it builds. And this is the thing, as our laws and our structure and our religion and all of this that is telling us how to be a family, and this is the thing, is that family civility is, yes, nuclear families are just as nice as every other family, but the laws cannot protect nuclear families anymore. Our lives are changing.
Yes.
And that's where what's happening is that we're dealing with the deaths and the beatings, and we're dealing with the last thing that happens. We're not dealing with it from the very beginning.
Yes. And let me say this. Thank you so much for shedding some light on Jacqueline Edwards. And yes, Jacqueline, I love to talk to you later on about the upcoming show, because that's a topic that we are not going to let pass us by. And what we were doing right now, folks, is just looking at if some people knew about these different laws, because you need to know your rights when you go to any country. And KJ said, wow, the Supreme Court and a lawyer to get a divorce? Yes, sirree. Hey, Janelle, good to see you. Welcome to the show. And now we're looking at the twos for the folks that were really not aware. And it's okay that you don't know. That's why I do shows like this, to help educate us so that we will know. So KJ put a 2, Angie put a 2, Dr. Shimo put a 2, Janelle put it 2, and here we have the fabulous Nikki Hammer. She says it's the same things about arranged marriages as a young child before teenage years. Wow. And Nikki Hammer, go ahead. And Nikki Hammer is from Romania, if I'm not mistaken. She actually is from Romania, but she is living in Chi-Town right now. And Jacqueline said, yes, that's true. Your tubes can't basically be tied unless your husband or spouse sign. She said, I did.
Yeah, okay. Same thing with her.
Okay, so here we go. In Canada, reports found that 10% of women, they are very or extremely concerned about violence in the home during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we talked about this before on my show. When you're living with somebody, you're already suffering with domestic violence, and then now, where's you really going to go?
That's what it is. You are the punching bag. I mean, you'll be surprised. They take out their frustration and because it's like a bully. If their power is taken away, they find somebody else to get power over.
Yes.
And so this COVID-19, everybody's power has been taken away to every extent. So when it comes to and this is going back to, as you said, the not being able to change without the help, is that trauma of their power. This is how they were taught to react when their power was taken away from them.
Exactly. That's true. And I wanted to take this comment from CEO of Live with Larry. He says, hi, everyone. Love you all, and God bless you all with much love and peace. Live with Larry from North Carolina. Great to see you, Larry. We're always happy to have you. And special shout out to a good dear friend of mine, Artie Gibbons Curry. Always happy to see you. I just tagged her because she's phenomenal. So we got some feedback, folks. We got some feedback from Jacqueline Edwards. She said, I would love to just say when, Miss Lotus. Okay, fantastic. So you guys got to come back when we have Jacqueline on the show. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about, we talked about civility. We talked about why it's important. We talked about domestic violence. We talked about a lot of the things that we have to change. We have to really go through a rebirth. We have to change the way we think, because civility empowers us. Yes. It gives us hope. It gives us the real weapon, if you will, against racism. And I really don't like to use that word weapon, but it gives us a solution. It gives us a solution to racism. So it gives us the solution to racism and all other the schisms that you talked about. Now, I want to say this, Doc, because you make it abundantly clear that we must be civil and have civility toward all people, devoid of what age they are, what color they are, what sex they are, what sexual orientation they are, however they identify. We've got to get off of the seesaw. And I love that. And I guess this is one of the reasons why you are one of the ambassadors for this fabulous upcoming summit. So for those of you that don't know, Dr. Harper is one of the ambassadors for the Sustainable Development Movement Summit. And there's just a myriad of people that's going to be on the summit. And she don't know, but bam, she didn't know I had that picture. So I want to share with you, if I may, we're going to take a couple quick seconds and share with you a little bit about this summit. For those of you that may have never even heard of the summit, we want to make sure that you know what this summit is all about. So I'd like you to check this out, and we're going to tell you a little bit about it before I share this with you. So Doc, can you tell them a little bit about the summit?
Well, the summit is actually by the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States. So they're uniting, but they, to be able to achieve the sustainable developmental goals. Now, number 17 of the goals is partnership. And so they're already by this summit. Oh, God bless you too, Dr. Sim. Already by this summit, they're achieving the sustainable goal number 17. And all right. So in the Eastern Caribbean, they're the smaller of the islands. They have a lot of trade. They don't have a lot of manufacturing or agriculture because they're the smaller of the islands versus the Greater Antilles, which is Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, and Dominica. Yes, my geography and history is coming out. And and so they're saying, let's all get together as all Caribbean countries. And, Caribbean is a very powerful place, but we're not considered because we're like Latin America and the Caribbean, or and the Caribbean. But we have just Jamaica alone is a land of wood and water. Just Jamaica alone has bauxite. Just Jamaica alone has the talent and the creative. Don't get me started on how wonderful, right?
I told you she was fire. I told you.
So imagine the rest of the Caribbean they're just as vibrant, they're just as intellectual, they're just as creative. And, I used to say in a former job of mine that our geographical position, only drug dealers knew the potential.
Right.
But even in history, our geographical connection, we connect the East and the West and have all these lovely ports. In fact, Jamaica has one of the 7 ports in the world that's protected. Harbors, which is a protected harbor, right?
Yes.
So this summit is being put on September 23rd to the 25th. And what is amazing, it's virtually because of COVID. It's going to be hard to go to St. Lucia physically, because you're going to have to quarantine before the summit. But if you want a 3-week vacation, sure, go ahead. I mean, St. Lucia is one of the most beautiful countries in the Caribbean. I mean, seriously, hands down. So if you want to go for 3 weeks, you're more than welcome to go in person, but they do have limited tickets. So I would advise you to get your ticket now.
So
yeah, they have virtual tickets. So what they've done is, it's not just a summit, it's a movement.
Okay, so
sustainable development goals to the Caribbean.
Okay, so I heard you say it's a movement, and I heard you say they're meshing people together across every area, if you will. So I want to share this with you guys that aren't familiar with this. Take a look at this. Oh, you know what? Let me make sure I set everybody up for success. Let me make sure I set everybody up for success. Yes, here we go. Want to make sure that everybody could hear what we're saying, right? Here we go. So, first and foremost, I want to say to everybody, because she didn't say this. Doc be trying to be low key, y'all. She trying to be low key, but she got some real heavy hitters on this. And like she said, it is a movement. It's not just a conference. So this thing is jumping off. I think it says September 23rd and 24th, right?
Yeah, but it's
2020.
actually going to be, there's also going to be the 25th as well.
Okay, fantastic. So like you said, it's a 3-day
Yeah.
movement summit, okay? And it's at the Royalton Resort and Spa in St. Lucia. You got some heavy hitters right here. Who we got here, Doc?
You have Les Brown, of course. You have Damon John. You have Melanie Harwood with it. She's doing education. She wants, millions of Gretas around the world. She wants to teach alternative education. We have Merlin Street Forest. And then you have Dr. Jules, who's actually the director of the OECS. And I've been in meetings with him, and he is so powerful. He's amazing.
Yes.
And then you have Tashin Syed and, Francesco. There are all these people that are there. I mean, the networking alone and the virtual ticket gives you networking as well.
Wow.
So if you're interested, I know people in Canada, for example, are coming to me asking how to become part of to get tickets, because they are interested in markets in the Caribbean, because a lot of the, as we call the developed countries, have the solutions to sustainable development, and we need those solutions in the Caribbean. So we are welcoming anybody from the United States and Canada and the UK to be part of this summit and movement and be part of the virtual and get your tickets, because we want you there to be able to help us with the solutions. I mean, we have the amazing speakers to inspire us, but we also have to network to find the solutions and that partnership.
And what I really like is that the Prime Minister is really on board with this, and is really talking about how important it is and what it is. So here, I wanted to share this with everybody, what the Prime Minister is saying. So I hope you guys can hear that, because if you can't, I'm going to play it again.
No, it was a bit low.
Yeah, it was a bit low.
Received awards. He is actually received a World Civility Award as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And I like his mannerism. So here we go. We're going to do it again. We've got the Prime Minister here.
An event that will display the full tourism product of St. Lucia and, by extension, our region. In addition to the international participants, we extend a warm welcome to all public and private sector players from across the Caribbean. We welcome all to this truly global and first-class initiative. The government of St. Lucia has provided its full support and fully endorses the OECS Commission in this endeavor. I, Alan Chastney, as Prime Minister of St. Lucia, join the movement. Will you?
Oh, na 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 na, certainly see no man.
No, you can't help but dance.
Together.
So that's what it is. So make sure you chime in and check in. I want to say hi, talking about chiming in and check in. Chika Kumi, she's here. She said the pandemic is really tough on women who are stuck with their abusers. So if some of you are just joining, you can only imagine what we've talked about. But at the top of the hour, we opened up with our topic for tonight, civility, because civility really empowers. And so, of course, we've got some questions because people want to help. And we're almost at the top of the hour and at the end of this broadcast. But we're going to take this question because it is powerful and it needs to be addressed. And while you're formulating your answer, Doc, go ahead and look at that question, because KJ wants to know what we can do to help, because it sounds like there's some policies that need changing. And so while you're thinking about that, I want to say hi to, we've got so many people. Tony Kendrick, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Herb L. O'Connor out of Georgia. Good to see you. Happy to have you here. Malek Lorenz, Amadeus, good to see you. Happy to have you here. Let us know where you're coming in from. And of course, we got Niswabi Florence all the way from South Africa. We always love to have you coming in all the way from Burundi. Nikki Hammer, we saw you earlier. And again, my friend, your friend, check her out. Artie Gibbons Curry. Hey, Artie, good to see you. And she said, wow, she loves this broadcast, of course. And then Brenda Flores Robles, we are happy to have you. Gerald Peterson, happy to have you. Pam Luhing, she's here. Fabulous speaker, coach. If you don't know her, you will know her. And she's one of the ladies, of course, on Bring Who You Are. And of course, Doc's going to tell us that before we go. And Elizabeth Holt Brown, good to see you. Tamara Bird, my cousin. Mwah! Love you. Thank you for your support. And of course, Elizabeth Holt Brown says, I wish I could stay in St. Lucia for 3 weeks. We wish you could too. So that's the question, Doc. Please answer that question. And then we want to ask you about some upcoming things that you have before and after the summit, like this new program or new broadcast that you're on. So what about, how do people help? What do we do?
So this is how the Family Civility Institute actually started. What the Family Civility Institute does is it's actually a training program where I train 30 students in each cohort, all of this anti-oppression practice, advocacy, helping to build shelters, because actually in Jamaica, we don't even have a place for women to go to when they're abused. So they can't even leave the house because they have nowhere to go, right? And there are a lot of countries like that. You know, in the States and Canada and all these places where you have these shelters, there are a lot of countries that don't have a place for women to go. And worse yet, they don't have it to go with their families. And then because Jamaica is so small, how do you even hide?
Yes.
You know, so you have to have security. So there's a lot of funding. And so one of the things that we're doing is each cohort has to do a group project and find a solution. I can't even tell you what they do to the girls that are abused, because they get sent to a home while the abuser stays in the community. But there's so many things that need to change. So what we're doing with the Family Civility Institute is training social service workers in combination with civility and everything you learned about civility today, and having them be in the community and start advocating for change. So sponsoring a cohort is a good way to help, because I would like to offer this for free to scholarships for 30 people. You can go on my website, familycivilityday.com, and see how you can sponsor a cohort and what the training is about, because we're now bringing civility door to door, civility into the homes, not to mention training community members themselves to advocate for change and to empower, as we say, empower the families to make the change.
I love it. I love it. And so I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. I want to thank each and every one of you. There's so many people. And thank you, Chicas, for letting us know that you are streaming it also from Nigeria. Super happy to have you. I want to take one more comment or two more comments. Larry says, awesome show. Fantastic. Dr. Cecilia Sims she said that during this pandemic, is there any assistance for those women and or men? Because we know a lot of men are being abused as well, who are being abused in their homes. Anything?
In Canada, yes, there's and this is why, again, I've learned how Canada does it, and they have done it perfectly. Don't get me wrong. Canada is, when it comes to the support system, it's not perfect yet because of funding and so on, but they have the right model. And that's why we need to take this model to other countries that don't have this model. Because in Jamaica, for example, there's nowhere for people to go. But, we're very lucky. The government worked very hard to get the numbers down, and they've opened up again and they've kept it down. But there's not a lot of help in the countries in Africa like Nigeria, because the Family Civility Institute is partnering with a institute in Nigeria to bring the program as an MBA in Nigeria.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, I'm really proud of that. And this is what we need to do is, again, the cohort, this can be a group project where they can work with a cohort from another community to say, hey, can you take my people And
Yes.
we can switch communities. Nigeria, it works because it's so large. In
Right.
Jamaica, for example, we could have a cohort in a community in St. Thomas, which is the south middle of the island,
Mhm.
and they can work with a community in the north of the island to say, hey, can we send our abused women and children to your community to be housed safely? And maybe with our Civility, homes in another community can actually take in an abused family and help them heal. Because
Exactly right.
they are taught supportive counseling in the curriculum, so they're able to help them heal as well and work through the judicial system, which needs advocating for, and so on.
Fantastic. So, Doc, thank you for sharing that information with us. It's been wonderful, and we know that you are doing a lot of work globally to help men and women and children to understand what civility is and how to demonstrate civility. And of course, if you need any help at all, don't hesitate to reach out to Dr. Harper. She is happy to help you. Don't hesitate. Reach out to me and I will be delighted to help you as well. You can reach me at lotusignites@gmail.com. I want to say hi to Margaret Mavis Johnson. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Also, Coach Roz, she's on the box with us as well. We have so many people streaming in. If I don't see your name or anything, just please accept it for love. We got so many people streaming in. And by the way, if you have not liked, shared, and started a watch party, please do so and hit replay if you're just coming in. And I hope you had your notepad and your pen, because it is unequivocal. Note takers are money makers, because we've learned a lot here today about things we had no idea about. So with that being said, Doc, please let people know how they can contact you. Oh, and before you go, I know you are part of this new program that's going on with a powerful panel of women. So can you tell us about that powerful panel of women, what the name of this broadcast is?
Well, I'm so honored to be part of this powerful panel of women. We have judges, we have entrepreneurs, and we're all women. We have media personalities, we have pastors, and we are bringing who we are straight up. You saw how honest this conversation was. You saw how Lotus loves to say, boy, I'm going to make you talk about, sorry, the pattern. I'm going to make you talk about your life experience. And that's how real we are on this show, is we bring who we are, and we ask the same of you to bring who you are. Shed those roles. We go into, we talk about the rebirth. This is definitely a show that will bring you to rebirthing, because we have been so domesticated in our lives, in so many aspects of our lives, that we're going to de-domesticate you.
Yes.
But we're not doing it. During this show, we're de-domesticating ourselves. So you're actually joining us, and we're going to do it together.
Right in front of you. Right in front of you. With no shame. We're not hiding anything. We want people from all around the world. Like Chika's joining us from Nigeria. Yeah. We have one of our sisters from Burundi. We want to let women know all around the world that you can live your truth and you can be who you are.
Yes.
But just bring who you are. And we've got, like she said, we've got judges, we've got doctors, we've got radio personalities, we've got a myriad of people, and some of these personalities are actually right here on the broadcast checking us out right now. Dr. Cecilia Sims, Pow. See, I'm real. I'm gonna show you. Pow, KJ Johnson, phenomenal lady. She's here, and I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna tell you, because some of you guys don't see her yet, but Miss Jemija's not here yet, but she is on with us. And I'm gonna tell you somebody else who I see on my phone. Where's she at? Pamela Luhing.
Oh my gosh.
She is one of the phenomenal women that's a part of this movement, because it's not just a mission. you know, some people have a mission, but there's no movement in the mission.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a mission,
And it's
and
not
we are making moves.
but we're talking, but we're
you.
actioning. That's the thing,
Yes.
because we're going through the change as well.
Yes.
So it's not just sitting down talking about things. We're actioning things. We're participating. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I give you an example. We did our first show 2 weeks ago, and our
Yeah.
next show is July 11th.
Yes.
And we're talking, and I haven't written anything in so long, like creative wise. I've been so focused. And while it's going on, I'm writing a poem.
Yes.
Of which and Lotus is like, read it. And I'm like, really? I just wrote it. No,
Yes.
read it. You know, you put things in the private chat. No, you're going to read it on air. This is real.
And you know, the thing about it, and I love all of the ladies, you know, because they're so real. They're so real. And we got something special coming up for you guys, because we're going to let you guys see how we really do the work, because we work on ourselves before we even come to the platform to encourage you to bring who you are. So you're going to love our broadcast. We just started the series. We did the first episode, and I got to tell you, it was long. And when we tried to get off the box, people were 3 hours. People were like, no, why it's just so good though. But folks, it's only gonna be like 45 minutes to an hour, this series, each time we come on. So thanks, Doc, for sharing that with us. I so appreciate you for sharing that. Chica said, live your truth. Awesome. That's right. And that's what we say. Jacqueline said, Sister Rebecca is awesome. Thanks, Miss Lotus. You're so welcome. I'm so happy to be able to do that for you. And of course, Dr. Sims said, this is real good. So thank you so much. And yes, this show is great, but also bring who you are is great. We're going to knock your socks off. And I'm not just saying that. We're going to knock your socks off. So you might want to put your socks on, put your shoes on, and tie them real tight. Hey, I would probably wear some high tops, okay, if you want to keep your socks on. So Dr. Harper, please have your last words, and just share your words of wisdom with our viewers as we come to the close of this show.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It is such an amazing show that you're doing, and all the work that you're doing, and the civility that you show to everyone every day. You are truly, and this is the example of it, you know. And I say to everybody there outside, just respect people's truths, hear their truth, love their truth, know that they have their own life that they have lived, and their own memories, and their own trauma, and their own good memories, and love them for who they are.
Yes.
But love yourself as well. So if you are, you know, something you say, I love you very much, but I love myself more right now, and I need to heal. So when it comes to everything we've discussed, you know, I do not begrudge anybody who has done bad things to me, because that's just God saying, you know what, ego, like I heard, if your ego is being hurt, that means you need to check your ego.
Yes.
And that is, you have to just look at that, and being civil, get off the seesaw, right? If you know you get a privilege and somebody else is not, get off that seesaw. And that's how we can help.
That's awesome. And don't forget, you can reach Dr. Harper at FamilyCivilityDay.com. You can put it in there. I don't think it matters if you use capitals or not. Just use the words. Just use the words. FamilyCivilityDay.com. And also, you can get with me at lotusignites@gmail.com. Please don't forget the upcoming summit that she's a part of. She is going to have a myriad of phenomenal speakers that you definitely want to come out and celebrate, because they're coming out to help you help yourself ignite and take flight. And that's not the one I wanted to show y'all, but it's okay. But these are the wonderful speakers that she has coming out.
Oh yeah.
And that joker don't want to go away for nothing in the world. I know the sister's like, whoa, what's going on? But here,
so to register for the summit, it's oh gosh, it just left me. OECSS DM That's
Yeah.
OECSSDM.com.
Yeah, and for those of you that want to write it down, there it is right there. Go ahead and write that down. Take it with you. Hit replay if you need to, and check out that summit. And get ready to win, because you're going to have a great time. And those of you that want to be a part of the summit, go ahead and you can contact myself. You can contact Dr. Harper, and we'll make sure you get all the information that you need to know. And we have so many people rolling in. Hi, Phyllis Weaver. Good to see you. Happy you here. And Dr. Shimo said there is a lesson learned in every message. Yes, there is. Well, folks, we love you. Travis Best, it's good to see you. And so many more people are just streaming in. We love you. If you missed any part of the broadcast, please hit the replay. Most importantly, share, like, tell a friend and tell a frenemy that it is time for them to win in life and in everything that they're doing. It's time to win, because nothing is impossible. Know that we love you and that you are possible too. And so we look forward to talking to you real soon. And don't forget, next week, I can't leave you guys off without telling you that I've got a couple phenomenal guests. I've got Sean Seagal all the way from Ohio on July the 7th, Tuesday. And then, and what we're going to be talking about, why it's important for you to learn how to speak as a speaker. Okay, why Toastmasters is important. Yes, I am a Toastmaster.
I am too.
All right. And then we're going to have the Vestilar training of Mr. Charles Bell. Charles Bell, he is a trainer. He's an advanced trainer for de-escalation and conflict management training. And this is going out to our police force. Amazing. We're going to be giving them some wonderful nuggets that's going to help them learn better ways to de-escalate situations and even refrain from even having to engage in de-escalation. So make sure you join me on July 7th with Sean Seagal, and also July 8th with Charles Bell. And I'm telling you, it's going to get hot. It's going to get hot, real hot on the 8th. So make sure you're there. So thank you very much, everybody. We love you too. We see some loves, and make sure you hit up them hearts and the thumbs up. Okay. Jacqueline said, get ready to win. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So we love you guys. We look forward to seeing you on our future broadcast. If people just keep streaming in. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you, KJ. Excellent show. She said, thank you, Dr. Harper. We love you and we appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget that everything is possible.